10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Game over.
How's it going, everybody? It's that same thing over and over again. You know, the Canadiens closed out their October with yet another loss. They're 2-8 to start the season, but we're gonna have fun anyway. Sorry it was such a wait, but I had to take the kids trick-or-treating, and when they're toddlers, that's a little bit chaotic. So I'm gonna welcome in a good friend of mine, Tito Curtis. Let's bring him on right now. How's it going, buddy?
Am I in a Zoom call?
You are. You're ready.
Oh, lovely. I'm good, man. I'm good. They're driving me to drink. They're driving me to drink.
That's allowed. I mean, I'm sticking to just a Coke Zero. Just to stay up enough to be able to get through this. But another rough one for the Montreal Canadiens. It seems to be the case more often than not this season. But yeah, it's tough. Usually I take notes during the game. I took a few notes during this one, but like there's not really much to talk about. Like they had that closed door meeting after the last game. That accomplished nothing. They had absolutely zero urgency.
Look at some positives, and this is not even me being facetious. They didn't turn the puck over that much.
Sure.
They got a couple of really good chances. They just couldn't finish them. And you know, I hate to be the guy who's like, well, if this happened and that happened, but the 5-minute major definitely that kind of killed it for everyone. But no, I wasn't happy watching the game. It's boring. They play. They're not entertaining to watch. It's like the outcome of the game never really feels like it's in doubt. Even when they score, you're kind of suspecting things are going to go wrong. And then, of course, they keep losing, and that's not fun, right?
Yeah, and I think it's also like the way they're losing, right? I think if you're losing tight games and you're putting up like a tough competition, it's a different thing. But, you know, the LA game, I was kind of searching for positives because LA is like a sneaky good even strength team, like top 10 in the league. The Ducks are the worst even strength team in the league. And the Canadiens didn't even...
you could tell.
Yeah, like you could tell. You really could tell.
It was like, that's why they look so good. Yeah.
Yeah, the Canadiens didn't even get much going against them. Like, I think they finished with 19 shots.
They couldn't sustain anything, you know?
No.
Like they didn't force any take. Like, it's one thing if you can't really sustain offense, but you can force the occasional turnover and take advantage of it. But that wasn't even really working, so...
Yeah, it wasn't very
good. That's
the
extent of my hockey analysis. Like I'm looking at the art behind you and I'm like, all right, that's pretty cool. I see, like, is that a Fleece Canadiens blanket behind you?
It is. You can't see it on the stream, but it's like I have like a thing over there that I had to cover because there's
a piano or like
no, it's just
that sounds like
no. There's like
that's more interesting than the game. What do you have to cover?
Okay, so like this is an old apartment, and a few years ago, we had the tenants on the other side of the wall were kicked out because they were hoarders and they had rats. And so their apartment smelled really bad, which the smell leaked into our apartment. So like every crack and crevice around areas where like there's I think hot water access on this wall back here. So there's a little thing here, and I put tin tape around all the crevices to like keep the smell out. So now there's like tin tape all over the wall.
So it looks like you're running a meth lab.
Yes. So I put a wooden fold out table there, and I was like, well, I got to just put something over there to like make it Habs in case I do like a widescreen.
When you said there's like I'm hiding something, I was like hoping it was going to be some like sex dungeon shit, but
no. I mean that stuff stays
boring old Andrew Berkshire with his 2 kids and his everything's fine life.
Everything's totally fine. Yeah, thankfully. For now. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how this show goes. The Canadiens are trying their very hardest to cancel this show. I'm telling you that right now. But
yeah, I know.
It's rough.
How do you drum up enthusiasm?
Yeah, I know. Like I was trying to think of like positives to talk about, and I was looking at like the data in the game, and like the best line the Canadiens had today was their 4th line. It's like, well, that's not exciting. Like
No, that's not
Cedric
exciting.
Paquette took a major and got kicked out of the game right away. I don't
So
think
you
he's
can't
going to
really
get
look at his
suspended,
performance.
which I guess is good. Like, because Zagreus kind of turned at the last second, and
Yeah.
usually when there's that last second movement, like they got the call right, I think, because he was charging, like he went from way out, but it probably won't be a suspension, which is good.
Yeah, it's not like I think like here's the positive, no major injury, right? So
Yeah, this game.
no major injury, so that's a positive. Nobody died. So that's always a bad, like when the thing has to be like, well, no one died in the game. Like people died in the world, but no one died in the game. So that's good. No one died. They had fun.
Did they?
Uh,
I mean,
I
we'll
don't
have
think they
fun.
had fun.
I don't think they had fun. No, there didn't seem like there was much fun. You know who did have fun was Troy Terry when he scored that goal, the game
Yeah.
winner, that put Getzlaff at the top of the Ducks all-time goal scoring list because he got the assist on it. So that was a nice little positive for the Ducks, which is like nice for them because they're kind of in the same situation as the Canadiens right now. Is they're not gonna have a season where there's a lot of fun, right? Like
No.
they have some future pieces there that are really exciting. Jamie Drysdale was really good tonight, but for the most part, like it's going to be a rough season for both these teams, and the Canadiens are determined to make it look the most rough for them.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. I'm wondering, like, at first I was like, okay, a lot of this is just what we saw last year. The team, a lot of important pieces. They're missing someone who can move the puck back there. There's some cohesion problems, depth, but now it seems like without a goalie who's just out of his mind good on some nights, and probably a calming presence for a lot of people. Probably a lot of people play differently when he's not around. Like they don't have that. There is something, I would imagine, when you're around someone who's as good as Carey Price is. There's a calm. There's a whatever. Like he can. But you don't have that. You don't have Shea Weber around. I don't know. These are all, I'm trying to use like all these magical metaphysical explanations, but really they're just bad.
Yeah, I mean they are bad, especially right now. I think they're not as bad as their record shows, but it's one of those times where like when things
I
start to
don't think
go
they'll
bad like this,
losing 4 for every one. No.
yeah, it's
Winning,
unlikely.
yeah.
But when things snowball like that, it's like even if you are playing all right, things start to fall apart anyway
Yeah.
because everybody's looking for someone to blame. There's no cohesion. Nobody believes in anything because nothing's working. So
They're all nihilists.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and like there was a comment on the YouTube chat saying that not everybody's giving Montreal enough of a break for missing Price and Weber and KK, and like I've mentioned that lots of times on this show. Like
that's like
they're missing a lot.
You can say that, but you can only say that so many times, right?
Yes, at a certain point they have to,
like,
not to. I think it's probably like, I mean, they are.
It's a huge thing to be missing, and like that's the commenter's right. Like it's a gigantic. You're right. It's hard, but at some point, like even if they were losing them all, like just lose them. Don't make it look so ugly. Like get something going. Show a little bit of desperation, but
yeah,
I mean,
I think
when
it's
I
like
was in the NHL, we tried hard. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's probably what makes people the most mad right now. Is just there doesn't seem to be a lot of desperation.
Yeah.
Like I think Josh Anderson looks good to the eye. Like he's driving down the wing, trying to cut in all the time, and it's kind of just what he always does. He looks all right. Mike Hoffman, great on the power play.
Hey, 4 goals, can't argue with that.
Yeah, and I think Nick Suzuki's starting to come alive, which is good.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's not a lot. Jeff Petrie got his first point today, which is good. I still think he's not 100% after the hand injury last year. I've heard rumblings.
I also think that like the
there.
one excuse that I think people could bring up again and again is they're probably out of shape or exhausted or busted up from, they only stopped playing like 20 minutes ago. It was a hard off season, and you see, I mean, you remember, I don't know if you remember when Washington, or no, Chris, when the Oilers made the finals years ago, the following year, they didn't even make the playoffs. Like it could take a lot out of you. It's not like that's another factor, but of course, these are all like, we're discussing a lot of factors that don't go to the core of the problem, which I think, there's like a lot of bad decisions that were made. The team has never really had an identity or a philosophy. Every I think Marc Bergevin, for as many good trades as he's made, has this thing where he just wants to recreate the defense in his own image. It's like he's trying to relitigate his career. Like, stay-at-home defensemen are super valuable. Let me just get you 30 of them and pay them way too much money, and they suck. Like, and like they're all human beings that, I'm sure, like, I hope they get paid lots of money, but I find it so frustrating that, like, it's almost spiteful. It's like it is violence. It is violence to be drafting these, or like drafting or acquiring or trading for or signing these guys who don't move the puck. Like, it's just, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of drafting, I was asked a question not on the last show, but in my Twitter DMs after the last game. And they were saying that they believe the Canadiens are one of the teams that has the fewest drafted players on their roster. So I actually went in and looked this up because I don't know if you remember from, like, even back when, for those who don't know, Tito used to cover the Montreal Canadiens for the Gazette for 1 year. And
2014, 2015,
yeah,
they lost
even back
then,
yeah, and he got yelled at for asking Michel Therrien what his Christmas plans were or something like that.
It's so stupid. It was so stupid. It hurt my feelings so much.
So yeah, that's where we're coming at here. But even back then, the consistent promise from Bergevin was that they would build through the draft, right? So I went through all 32 NHL teams, and let's be honest, from the start, Seattle does not count here. They've had one draft. They've only been in the league for a year, so they don't have any drafted players on their roster. But the Canadiens have 5. They are Brendan Gallagher, Jake Evans. Yep. Francis Boyle. No, Brendan Gallagher, Jake Evans, Arturi Lehkonen, who I forget who else there was now. I'm having to look it up on Cap Friendly.
Carey Price.
Carey Price is on the IR, so he doesn't count.
Okay, he doesn't count.
He doesn't count right now. So I counted up on the IR as well, just because it's not really fair to say, like, they didn't draft Carey Price, right? But, like, they have 5 drafted players on their roster, which ties them for the second least, not counting Seattle. The only team with less is Vegas, who also shouldn't really count because they just came into the league, right?
10 minutes.
So we could say, Carey Price is on the IR. They could have 6. So then that would put them above, surprisingly, Ottawa, which is a rebuilding team, which is very strange for a rebuilding team to have.
Can I ask, who are some of the notable draft picks that are elsewhere? Like Max Pacioretty.
I mean, I guess you could say PK Subban, but he's fallen off significantly. Yeah. I think the bigger difference is, like, you look at
Kotkaniemi, like
Kotkaniemi. I gotta open up Cap Friendly now because I want to figure out who the other players are.
Yeah,
because
it is frustrating because you're right. Like it's weird. It's almost like you should have one GM for the crazy trades and the other GM for drafting.
Yeah, Cole Caulfield and Romanov. That's who they are.
Oh, yeah.
So Cole Caulfield obviously has a lot of promise. Things haven't gone well for him this season. But I think what I was looking at, because even like the teams with 5, right? There's Ottawa with 5, Montreal with 5, and Pittsburgh with 5, and Chicago with 5. Well, Chicago is the worst team in the league. They're absolutely fucking terrible, right? So, like, it's not surprising that they've tried to, like, grasp onto things and keep trying to compete with their aging core that hasn't worked out. And also, like, I hope it continues to not work out after the stuff that's been revealed about them. But, like, Pittsburgh, yes, they have 5, but the guys they have on IR are, like, Evgeny Malkin, Sidney Crosby just came back, Chris Letang is in COVID protocol. Yeah. So, like, those are big ticket items, right? Like, not to say Carey Price isn't, but you look at the Canadiens guys.
It's not Carey Price and Evgeny Malkin. Like, it's not,
Yeah, so Canadiens have Price on IR. Gallagher and Price both predate Bergevin. So the other ones, Evans, I believe Evans was a Bergevin pick, even though he's a little bit older. Cole Caulfield was a Bergevin pick. Alexander Romanov was a Bergevin pick. So we are 9 years into Marc Bergevin as general manager of the Montreal Canadiens. And he's got 4 guys that are on the roster that he brought up through the draft when he said he was going to build through the draft. Like,
Well,
anybody else seeing a problem here? And you want to look at like successful teams? Tampa Bay Lightning, you know how many drafted players they have on their roster right now?
more than 5.
12.
Hmm.
12. The team they just faced,
That's
Anaheim.
only double and then some.
Yeah. Anaheim has 13. You know, LA Kings that they just faced yesterday, 11. The average across the NHL is 8.3. So, like, the average team is bringing in 3 extra drafted players. So that helps you cap-wise because you got more guys on entry-level deals and more guys who you've brought in through the team who are possibly taking hometown discounts. And there's also, like, an opportunity cost when you have to trade and sign players to fill out your roster.
But I mean,
and that's why I think, like,
it,
this situation is not going to get fixed easily. I think there's some good players in their system, but I don't trust that they're going to bring any of them up.
It's a culture change, and it's what took Bergevin the longest to react to in his tenure. You know, Michel Therrien, they wasted some of their best years with him as coach, and when it was clear that he had lost, I think, a bunch of guys in the room, or that just maybe he wasn't effective and he was never the guy for that job, and it took years for them to their AHL team to get rid of Sylvain Lefebvre, who was garbage, and now apparently also an anti-vaxxer. Like, come on, you couldn't pick up on the fact that he was a fucking maniac. Like, that's another. No, but seriously, like that's it took them way too long to resolve that situation. I don't think Jeff Molson should be like, what was the first paid job that you had in hockey?
Me?
Yes, you.
An analyst for Sportlogic.
You were an analyst for Sportlogic, and then you contributed to RDS, to Sportsnet, to the Gazette. You know, so your first job in hockey was Sportlogic. Jeff Molson's first job in hockey was president of the Montreal Canadiens. And of
Point
course,
taken.
Like, no, I'm saying like he probably watched a lot of hockey. He probably knows a lot of hockey players. He's a rich man, you know, of course. But you go in there with guys, and I'm sorry, it's all men. You go in there with men who've done this their entire lives. I'm sorry, like you need someone to instill a culture that is, I don't know, that's going to work. You have Bergevin who got rid of, and I'm going to relitigate. I'm not really getting this. I don't think that the trade was bad or whatever, but when you get rid of Subban, and one of the things that you say about Subban is, well, when we lose, he's not miserable enough. You know, like I want like some of the best players I've ever played with at any sport who actually were good and went on to do something and weren't losers. They would lose and they'd be like, all right, whatever, we'll get them next time. Like, some people, it just doesn't, they have to let it roll off their back. And so you have this culture of, like, I'm sorry, I'm going on this huge tangent, but my point is there's that guy's been in charge of the hockey culture, and like the hockey culture is what grows the players. And yeah, I mean, they blew a lot of, I think, really good talent. They whether it was the AHL that wasn't working well enough, or whether it was some kind of, but I think overall like it starts at the top, and like, yeah, he's made good trades, but creating a culture, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you can bring it back to the Logan Mailloux situation, right?
Yeah,
like, how does that create a good culture?
To be drafted, he knew.
Yeah,
like,
and
he knew.
You can bring it back to like other moves that they've made, like guys that they brought in, like Sean Burke is their goaltending consultant who has a history of domestic abuse. There's Nick Cousins that they signed as a free agent who had sexual assault allegations in junior. Like, this isn't their first rodeo, and what they value as like character, which Bergevin loves to bring up, does not seem to jive with like real life character.
Don't listen to hip hop. That's a character problem. Don't you listen to no hippity hop. Look, the guy, you know, that's whatever. What are you gonna do, right?
Yeah, and I think for those who are asking at the beginning of the stream, there's a couple comments and they're saying like, how would you hype people up for what the Canadiens are going to be in the next couple of years when you're watching this garbage right now? And like, they do have good pieces. Like, I know that Cole Caulfield has no goals, right? I know that, and everybody's upset.
He's played like 5 games in the NHL. It's
and
take time.
You watch him every game, and like his instincts around the puck, like he's going to find it. And there was an argument, somebody was saying, a Leafs fan was popping in saying, that last year in the playoffs, people were saying that Caulfield was better than Matthews or as good as Matthews. Nobody was saying that, but also
Nobody
he only
serious was saying that.
Yeah,
If
nobody
somebody
serious was
said
saying
that, they probably just sold you meth.
But also, he's only got one fewer goal than Matthews this year, I think. So maybe just calm down on the Leafs hype. They're not doing so great right now either.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I mean, I still would never make that comparison.
I mean, I'd still trade Caulfield for Matthews and like 3 first-round picks in a heartbeat, but
if they're doing, yeah.
it wouldn't take long for me to make that decision. But I think that's the thing with the Canadians, right? Is they have no full-on superstars, and people expect everyone who is good to instantly become one, whether it's Nick Suzuki or Cole Caulfield, and it just hasn't happened here. And I think part of that is the culture of what they value. They don't really push offense the way that a lot of good teams do. I think that at a certain point, they have to realize that part of it comes down to the identity that they've built, and the Canadians think that they're this like lunch pail, work hard organization. And like, I'm sorry, but that's the Leafs. That's always been the Leafs' MO. The Canadians has been the high flying, all out octane, high octane offense club who will also kill you defensively because they're just better than you. And I think if you're not going to build towards being something that like reinvigorates the fan base in that way, like there's a reason why people loved Alex Kovalev so much, right? It wasn't because of his defensive play. He wasn't awful. He made some mistakes, but
it wasn't because of his back checking and his
it was because you give him the puck and he was a freaking magician. Yeah. Like that's what they kind of need to look for. And I think they've made so many compromises in terms of just like staying competitive. And
yeah, you're right. You want to be in the mix. And the way they would always pitch it at the end of every season was, hey, we're in the mix, like we show up, we make the playoffs and anything can happen. And it was always treated like this. Like you're not, it's not like you're the nerd asking the cool prom queen out to like, it's not a movie. Like, don't roll the dice. Like, I don't want this, like, you're not my Uncle Joe. Like the strategy shouldn't be, find the weak blackjack handler. You want to, no gambling, like try and build a successful team, not just a team that'll like crawl in and like maybe Carey Price will be out of his mind.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of the issue, right? Is like, someone asked, I think it was at the end of last year when I didn't get a chance to answer it. And they were saying, well, if you were to take over as GM, what's the first thing that you would do? And I think the first thing that I would do literally is like I would sit down in a meeting with Carey Price when he's back, Brendan Gallagher, Jeff Petrie as some of the like older vets on the team. And I would say, listen, it ain't working. Do you want to stay here and possibly, go the rest of your career or the rest of your prime for Gallagher on a team that's probably going to need 3 years at least to get into a competitive spot? Or do you want to move on somehow? And I can try to make that happen, because this whole idea of like, last year was like the do it one time for Weber and Price, right?
Yeah.
And it didn't work. They had a really miraculous run, and then they met up with the Lightning and got their heads absolutely caved in.
Yeah.
Right. So it was like, it should have been a wake up call, but instead they doubled down, even though they knew they were going to lose Weber. And it's an interesting choice. But I feel like maybe we should, we'll move on from this game specifically and about the Habs maybe, but let's talk a little bit, if you don't mind, Tito, because you've been on both the hockey side as like a beat reporter and in the investigative journalist side. Have you been paying attention at all to the Blackhawks situation?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Rick Westhead's work?
Rick Westhead's excellent. He works with Shireen, right?
Yeah, he does at TSN, yeah.
Yeah, Shireen's awesome. Yeah, but yeah, no, Rick's an excellent reporter.
Yeah, he is. And there's been a lot of questions about like why regular hockey reporters or hockey insiders didn't have anything on this and like haven't really helped the investigation along. And I feel like it's somewhat unfair in one respect, in that we don't actually know behind the scenes with TSN if there has been any help from people like helping Rick Westhead to like talk to this guy, or like here's this thing to go this way. We don't actually know that. But on the other hand, there's also like, are the average hockey insider or beat reporter actually equipped to go after a story like this?
I wouldn't say that it's like they're all good investigators. They're, you know, like the insiders, and they have like really good instincts, and they have like, you know, Eric Engels would be an amazing investigative journalist if he chose to be, you know. I think your job is primarily to find good hockey stories, you know, and good, compelling kind of narratives for the season, you know, this rivalry or this kind of inter locker room problem, or the Canadiens aren't doing this right. And so like you're almost trained to look away from some of the things that might appear off. You don't see, like, there is a whole wall that you don't see behind. You might get close to certain players, but I don't think they're going to talk shit about another player. And if they won't talk shit about another player, then I you know, I don't see how they would, I don't know how they would trust you know, a reporter with something as awful as like sexual abuse, or as difficult to share. But then there's a part of me that wonders if a player won't share that with a sports journalist, because they see them as part of the machine, right? They see them
Right.
as like, they see the journalists, say like you're with Sportsnet, which has the TV rights. Like it's hard not to, they're not idiots. They know that these guys are connected, and they know that an insider, you know, like they know they really have to trust you to open up to you. And I think they see the hockey, or the beat hockey reporters as people who might not be willing to take that risk, who might not be willing to like burn all your bridges in a club that you have to go back to day in and day out. And it is hard, like just writing critically about the club and not even anything about something really serious like these allegations, right? And which I believe the survivor, of course. Anyways, my point is, you criticize the team and it feels like you're being watched and followed when you're at the, and that's messed up, and we accept way too much of that. But you, as a reporter, when you criticize the team, you feel your access slowly get cut off. You feel you just feel a hostility from the organization, and you feel a hostility from some of the other reporters who are friends of the organization. And you wonder if they say, you know, if they're like starting some whisper campaigns or whatever. So like, I can't even imagine if you're chasing an abuse story like this. So you kind of do need an outsider to come in but then how does the outsider find out about the allegations, right? It's really difficult, and I don't think it's a great credit to hockey journalism that this didn't come out earlier. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, 11 years.
There's a lot
And
of
for those
publicity too.
and for those worrying about being bummed, like I'm not gonna dig too much into the actual details of the case. We already covered that
No.
a couple episodes ago. I just wanted to ask Tito specifically about the media side of it, because he's been on both sides. He's an investigative journalist. He's the founder of the Rover here in Montreal, which is fantastic grassroots journalism that you can support, that talks about
Please do.
issues that too many of us don't know. Yeah, and then, you know, he's done the Montreal Gazette stuff, talking to the players and that routine stuff. So I wanted to get that unique perspective of somebody who's been on both sides of it. I don't want to bum everybody out on Halloween and talk about
look,
the case.
I mean, it's we, you know, we have to have these difficult conversations, of course.
Yeah.
We have to figure out why things went wrong. We don't have to go into details about what happened, but like, it's important to figure out where, you know, how we could do better, and how we can make it so that when something really bad happens to someone, they can trust that if they speak up, they're going to be believed. And if they speak up, there won't be repercussions against them. And it's really hard to create that kind of culture. It really is, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so I think maybe we'll move on to some candy rankings and brighten the mood in here a little bit. There's a Ducks fan that just popped in. They were surprised it's still on. Yeah, we only went live like 25 minutes ago.
Hours. You missed the first 3-hour discussion. We were talking about how much we loved Anaheim.
Yes, definitely. That's definitely what we're going about.
It's lovely.
Yeah, I mean, that John Gibson guy is very good. He wasn't really challenged tonight, but
no.
Yeah, I think everyone was out suntanning a bit too late yesterday. Would explain the lackadaisical approach to the game.
I mean, it's Halloween weekend in the Los Angeles area.
This is true.
I I wouldn't blame the Canadians for going out and having a little party. Whatever.
No, I mean, honestly, at this point, like when things get
Go
this
party.
low,
You need to party.
yeah, like there's a lot of people who see things get this low and they're like, oh, I want them to get like bag skated because they just can't understand like these
No.
privileged athletes that they're not giving their all.
They all need to go to a cottage and do magic mushrooms. Like, but seriously, like,
Could you imagine a coach actually doing that and like telling
Mark
the media,
Messier?
like, that's what we did.
Mark Messier's into magic mushrooms. He'd do it, and nobody would ever question the moose, man. That guy was, well, he's a beast.
Well, and if you did, he'd elbow you right in the back of the head. So
It's true. It was different back then.
it was different back then.
You
I mean,
could
you look
commit
at old
murder on
hockey,
ice.
and it's
Cool.
it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. I mean, I always think back to like people talk about like there used to be respect in the game. And have you ever seen the clip of Boom Boom Jeffrey on two hands slashing somebody in the face with no helmets? Back when the sticks were just like pieces of lumber.
Oh, you mean a stick fight? We had those all the time.
Yeah. Just
2
like
minutes later, they were having a beer.
just Google or go on YouTube and search like Boom Boom Jeffrey on slash to the face. It's insane. And I'm pretty sure he got something like a 2-game suspension out of it. It's just the game's changed a little.
And pulling your face apart. Yeah.
Oh man. All right, so let's do a bit of a breakdown here for everybody watching, and if you're gonna have the chance to comment, just send us some candy suggestions here, and we're gonna put them on a bit of a tier list from like trash to must-haves. I'll throw out some ones there too, and you're free to do that as well, Tito, if you want to do like your top 5s, and we'll try to figure out what we got going on here. I'm like, mine will be very different than most people because I'm allergic to peanuts. So like I think a lot of people have like Snickers super high, right? So it wouldn't even be on mine. It'd be like trash tier. Because when I was a kid,
all of mine are like peanut based. I'm so
yeah,
sorry.
I figured. Yeah, so like when I was a kid, we'd go out and we'd get like
How
a
old were
sleeping
you
bag
when
full of
you were
candy.
allergic to peanuts?
Oh, like a baby.
Okay, so
It
did
was like,
anything really bad happen?
Not super bad. I had to go to the hospital a couple times from like accidentally ingesting, but basically my grandma let me play with one of those old peanut jars that were like shaped like a teddy bear.
Yeah.
And I like broke out in hives and they had to bring me to the hospital and they're like, what's going on? Allergic to peanuts. So yeah, when I was a kid, my 2 younger brothers, I would trade with them all the peanut candy that I got at Halloween until like I would, get rid of all of it. And my youngest brother, who was like, he should have been an investment banker or something like that, he realized that I was like, had no negotiating power. So he was like, yeah, you give me like 5-1.
Oh,
He's like 5
wow.
years younger than me.
You could have just beaten the hell out of him, and
Yeah, I could have.
But you're a good guy.
I am a good guy. But yeah, so that was it. Okay, so I'm gonna do my top 3. I think number 1 is Kit Kat. I fucking love Kit Kat. Number 2, probably Coffee Crisp. And number 3, maybe Mars Bar. I like the Mars Bar.
It's basically like they're all good. They're not. There's no bad choices in there. I love them all, but I feel sorry for you because to me, number 1 is a tie between peanut butter M&Ms, Reese's Pieces, Reese's Cups with Reese's Pieces in them, Wonder Bar, Crispy Crunch. That's it. That's my number 1 is all of those.
All the peanut ones.
And everything else that doesn't have peanuts in it, everything else that can't kill you, I don't care for very much. I don't know what that says about me, Andrew.
I don't know. I mean,
my fly swatter and my beer. There's flies. They're putting manure down in the field across the street. So like, there's just big flies everywhere, man. I don't want, so I gotta have this with me all times. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a major issue.
But very interesting for the behind the scenes stuff.
Yes, very interesting. I mean, if we want to get gross, I can tell you about the fly problem we had when the neighbors were getting evicted.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The feces neighbors. Okay.
Yeah. It was bad. They had somebody living in their garage. It was a fun time. It's better now. So yeah, we got some questions here about different ones. Oh, Henry, no Henry for Berkshire. Where do you put O. Henry? Is it in your top tier?
Oh, Henry's good, but it's in the second tier. I named the top tier. It's all peanut butter or whatever. Like it's really, but O. Henry's up there. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, somebody mentioned candy corn. I mean, candy corn is trash tier. I'm sorry.
I mean, are there peanuts in candy corn?
No, but it's trash tier.
So then no, but so then you have no choice. It has to be somewhere. It's in the few. I'm not mocking your allergy. I sort of am, but I hope you're okay. I hope nothing bad ever happens to you. But you kind of have to you can't. The candy corn belongs in one of the good categories because
you're saying I can't choose. I can't be begging,
no.
Right? Like
no, you can't exactly. Beggars cannot be choosers.
Can't be picky. Let's see what else is there.
Little box of raisins. Those are on your top tier as well.
I don't mind chocolate covered raisins. Regular raisins, I'm not.
Nope, I mean the raisins with the lady on the box.
Yeah, I remember getting those. Did you ever have anybody give you like a toothbrush?
Oh yeah.
On Halloween? Yeah.
I remember that address.
My mom was a hygienist and was like, I don't need this. I already have 30 toothbrushes at home.
Yeah.
But yeah, what else? You know what? I feel like people are divided on Starburst. I like Starburst. Probably not anymore because it's so damn sweet, but
I think you know why you like Starburst. No peanuts in it. No peanuts in it. Yeah, Starburst, I can't. The gums, man, it gets between your teeth and shit.
Yeah,
your mom's a hygienist. She probably taught you how to floss your teeth. Mine was just like pull the tooth.
Just vice grips.
Yeah, raised by wolves, Andrew. Raised by wolves.
I know your dad. He's on Twitter. He's a nice guy.
He's a nice guy. He's a bit. He's got like he's chippy. He's a bit chippy, but he's a good guy. He likes you a lot.
Yeah, I like him too.
He talks about you. He likes you.
Awesome.
Just do what Andrew Berkshire said. That's not how he sounds.
Oh, somebody wants to cancel me. Uh-oh. Twizzlers. Somebody in there. I'm not really that down with licorice. Never my favorite.
And yet there's no peanuts in it.
There's no peanuts. I'll eat it. If I really need some sweets, I'll eat it. When I was a kid, I'd definitely eat it.
If I must. I love licorice.
Yeah? Black?
Oh yeah, man. My dad always used to have a bag of nibs like hidden somewhere in the house.
I always liked the nibs better than like the big pieces of licorice.
Yeah,
maybe it's because I could just have a couple and then quit.
They also taste better, and they're not as hard. There's not that like hard varnish on the outside or whatever that is.
Yeah.
Like
whatever that was.
We need you to be able to eat this as a candy and then use it to strangle someone to death if you're ever in trouble.
Oh, we definitely tried to strangle each other with Twizzlers. 3 boys?
Yeah,
it happened. Yeah. 3 Musketeers. I don't hate 3 Musketeers. For any Americans that are watching, I think they call that something else there. It's like a Milky Way. No, they call Mars a Milky Way. So I don't know.
I think it's 3 Musketeers. It's pretty great.
Yeah, it's a Mars bar without the caramel, right? It's just all nougat inside.
Maybe. I think I seem to remember it being like, but I like it's a chocolate bar, you know?
Yeah.
It's really hard to mess up a chocolate bar. The coconut chocolate bar, yeah, that was stupid. Don't do that.
Oh, you don't like Bounty?
No, I don't like Bounty.
Oh, I like Bounty.
But that's like coconut in a cake with some chocolate, fine. In a chocolate bar, what are you doing? I'm not.
I like the texture.
No, but this isn't like I didn't order this at a restaurant. I don't want coconut in my. Seriously, what is this?
Twix. Twix is an elite chocolate bar. I love Twix.
I'm sorry, but when the selling point of your chocolate bar is you get 2 of them, it's like that's not. It's like the 2-for-1 pizza. It's like. They're not advertising how good the pizza is. They're just how much of it you can get. There's so much more, bro.
Who used to do that?
The other stuff.
I feel like Pizza Hut used to do
that. Twix is okay.
Yeah, I like Twix. Twix is good. Butterfinger was in Tito's Elite. It's in my trash because I can't eat it.
Candy corn is in your Elite, yeah.
No, yeah. Wonder Bar. I don't think I've ever. Wonder Bar is another one with peanuts, isn't it?
Yeah. Family who gives out apples, also in his Elite, yeah.
Yeah, geez, family who gives out apples. I mean, I love apples. I do. Not on
Not on
Halloween.
Halloween.
No, not on Halloween. It's not the way you do it. People who gave out
You don't
money,
go
that
to
was okay.
you don't go to your drug dealer for a Bible. Doesn't mean the Bible's bad. You just don't go to your drug dealer for the Bible.
I mean, it
Unless
depends. Maybe you get both. You get a sermon and get
unless it's
high.
Cocaine Keith. Cocaine Keith is a hell of a well-read Bible scholar, my friend.
Ooh, Hershey's cookies and cream. I feel like that one's a bit. That used to be my middle brother's favorite chocolate bar, and I never really liked it because I don't know. I don't remember if it's actually white chocolate in it. I think it is. I just do not like white chocolate.
Even if it's white chocolate, it's pretty good. Hershey's
Yeah?
cookies and cream. And there's not even any peanuts, and he's being a snob. What is this?
Oh, Skittles. Okay, Skittles are great, except for the whole replacing the green Skittle with apple flavor, with the green apple flavor.
What was it originally? It was lime?
Lime.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it used to be lime. They're actually bringing it back with lime now, but
Oh,
the
now apples
apple
are getting
throws off the
canceled?
whole
What is
thing because
this?
like the apple's fine if you eat your Skittles by like picking apart each flavor and eating one flavor at a time. Fine. I still don't
does
really
that?
like the green apple,
Who-
but
Charles Manson and
yeah,
like,
exactly.
who
You take a
else?
handful and you eat the Skittles, and if you do that, the green apple just like overpowers all the other flavors and it's gross. So
I feel
Skittles
like
can be
Julian
amazing.
McKenzie would divide them by flavors. Yeah.
I used to do that like when I was a
I'm
young
just
kid.
trying to insinuate that Julian McKenzie is a secret serial killer.
I mean, who else other than a serial killer would have like 500 podcasts?
Tonight on Evidence Cast, how to get rid of it. I'm sorry.
Oh man, poor Julian. He could take it. He could take it. Ring pops. I feel like I had very few ring pops in my life because they're just so messy.
I was told that it looked stupid and I couldn't have it anymore. So there's my feelings on ring pops. That's like one session of therapy for me. Ring pops.
I feel like ring pops is part of that tier of candy where it's just like stupid things that kids that are teenagers buy when they have like a little bit of expendable income over like a lunch period where they're allowed to leave school. It's like pixie sticks, ring pops, those things where you like lick the candy
Yeah,
stick and
yeah.
dunk it in the sugar. And it's all like kind of garbage. And the only thing I can think of with that tier of candy was there was one time I had like science coming back from lunch, and one of the kids in the class had a bunch of pixie sticks. He bought like $5 worth of pixie sticks, and they're like 10 cents each. And he was like, "You dare me to snort this pixie stick?" And I was like,
I didn't know.
"Sure." And he did, and apparently it hurts a lot. So don't
Not
snort
so
a pixie
bad.
stick.
It's not so bad. It's
Not so bad.
No, no. He's being a baby.
Oh well, he was like 15, so
For sure, yeah.
he was a bit of a baby. Smarties, I get down with Smarties. I think they're fine.
Oh,
People hate on
absolutely.
Smarties.
Smarties that they don't sell in the United States. That's a crime.
This is true. I think they're like people say like people down on Smarties are comparing them to M&Ms, and M&Ms are better.
They're not the same thing.
No, they're not the same thing. I think Smarties are better in ice cream. Like a Smarties
Smarties
Blizzard is
like
better than an M&M
candy.
Blizzard.
Thick candy shell around a little bit of chocolate.
Yep.
M&M is like eggshell sized candy shell around a lot of chocolate.
Take Fives. I've never had a Take Five. I don't even know. I think that's an American thing.
Take Five. Did your parents hate you?
I've never had it.
Take Five, kid, get out of here. And I'm saying, like, this guy suggesting Take Five. Well, so you just made it up?
Okay, I just got sent one from a friend of ours. Somebody sending out as like part of their Halloween thing, talking about school shootings. That's a little bit dark to put in a kid's candy thing. They gave like a postcard with facts about school shootings for Halloween.
Jesus, that's so dark.
Like it's a
There's
serious
not a joke to
issue.
be had there. That's just
I
really
don't think
dark.
I don't think I'd give that out to a grade schooler though. It's just
I mean, there's nothing. There's only so many years of your life where you don't have to know how terrible the world is. You know?
enjoy those years.
Like, give him a couple more years. You'll figure it out. And if he hasn't figured it out by then, give him a couple more years, you know?
Oh, someone mentioned Crunch Bar. I haven't had a Crunch Bar in years, but I actually legitimately love Crunch Bar. The one
There's
with
like
like the
rice inside. There's like little
yeah,
rice bits.
where
Yeah,
you hear it and it sounds like garbage, but it's so good.
it's good. I think you want to combine the Crunch Bar with something. You melt it, you put it on a marshmallow, but instead of putting it on
Oh,
something crunchy at the bottom, it's a piece of French toast, and it's a piece of French toast
ooh,
on top, and that's your sandwich.
I'm
No, I don't
okay.
know.
That sounds like a 4 a.m. you've been drinking meal, and
Yeah,
I'm
well,
I'm with
I
it.
always when I make French toast, I always have like an extra couple that I haven't eaten, and I use them later for like experiments. A
I love it.
sandwich with French toast. I don't know. They're the best. Maple syrup delivery vehicle.
Gummy bears. Gummy bears are fine. I feel like
Gummy
gummy
bears are
bears.
pretty amazing, but well, it's like what kind of candy are you in the mood for? Like I don't
Yes,
I feel like
that
putting them all
affects
together
everything.
is detrimental because there are times where I want gummy bears or something sweet. So like it's that in that case, it's gummy bears versus Skittles, like versus the Sour Patch. Like that is its own category. And then you got the chocolates. And
Someone
then
asks nerds. When I was a kid, I absolutely loved nerds. I love sour candy, and also anytime you're a kid and you've got like a very little amount of money to spend, you're like, I'm gonna get something where I get a million of something. It
exactly.
just feels like such a good deal, you know?
I could get the one chocolate bar, or I could get the hundreds and hundreds of little things. And they come in two different holes, so I'm getting more value.
Exactly. You get to open up each side, and they're like slightly different sugar flavor.
Oh, it was basically kid drugs.
Sour Patch Kids, love Sour Patch Kids. Sour Patch Kids are
Depends.
great.
Depends. Sometimes I find them a little intense, but I really do like them when I like them.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of sour. I always have been. The Rocket. I
Sour
don't know what a
pickles. I
rocket
mean,
is.
I know this is not like part of the candy thing, but if I went to someone's door with a costume on and they gave me a pickle, I'd be okay with that.
That's actually, it's funny that you mentioned that because the Discord for SDPN, the company that this is launched through, asks every single host when they come on if they like pickles. It's like a huge deal in the Discord for some reason. And it's a controversy no matter what you say. Like half the people seem to be freaking out that you've like have to be canceled or you're awful if you say that you like or dislike pickles. I love pickles. Pickles are
You
great.
love pickles, and we should love pickles. Is like pickling things is like an ancient food tradition that like so when you bite into it, like that flavor is like the flavor of time and the flavor of tradition. And that flavor, my friend, is the flavor of people surviving off of pickled foods. So if you have a problem with that, Discord channel users, you can go fuck yourself. I'm pro pickle. I'm not afraid to say it. You know what,
Show,
Andrew? I'm going to come out on this show and say it. I'm pro pickle.
this is a pro pickle show. We'll say that.
Okay. We're not afraid to say it like those other shows that flip flop on their pickle stances.
Exactly. And I asked the Discord and I was like, are you guys even accounting for like pickled jalapenos? Because like you can't have a burrito without pickled jalapenos.
If you said pickle, you open the door to anything that can be pickled. And as far as I'm concerned, there are so many wonderful things that can be pickled and have been pickled. And there are even more wonderful things that will be pickled. So seriously, man,
Gotta get
that's
on
it. Like
pickles.
you're not gonna get a stronger like all that shit I said about the Canadians culture, like whatever. Who gives a shit?
But
Pickles.
pickles.
That's I'll fight you about pickles. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the game also changes when you start learning how to do your own pickling, right? Because it doesn't actually take that long.
No, I'm
Like you
not
can
doing
quick
that.
pickle some cucumbers.
I just take advantage of people who pickle for me. But I will do it. I will do it because I want to pickle things. You're right. Like there's like exactly pickling jalapenos or some hot peppers or something like that could be fun.
Yeah. We got a couple other ones. Swedish berries. I liked Swedish berries as a kid. As an adult, I find they just taste like chemical. I don't like them.
Yeah, they're not like those good organic gummy bears.
No, no, the gummy bears taste
Or
like
the
real fruit.
organic Skittles or the organic nerds. Yeah, no, I know what you mean though. I think it's that they taste really thick and
Yeah,
they taste gelatinous, not gelatinous, but like a hard gelatin, like it's made from crushed horse bones. Maybe it
yeah.
is.
It has like a
Maybe it
bit of
is.
an aftertaste. Not my
It
favorite.
does. You're right. It's awful. Why did we like it so much?
Don't know, but as a kid, it's like Swedish berries. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
No.
Jolly Ranchers. Jolly Ranchers are
Yes.
good.
No
Pack a lot of
peanuts.
flavor.
No
No
peanuts.
peanuts. I'm in. There's no peanuts. Way back in the chat that I missed, some people were asking about like Ruffles chips. There's like a huge cult following of Ruffles chips in Canada, hey? And like they're
Well,
like the people who love Ruffles chips are like, fuck Lay's, fuck Miss Vicky's, that's garbage chip. I only eat Ruffles chips.
dude,
And like,
that's so
listen,
smooth, so smooth. What is this?
like,
That's smooth
who
finish.
likes this smooth chip? It's just a sliced potato.
They're all
I
walking around in corduroys. We need ruffle patterns everywhere.
cable knit sweater. Yeah. I like all dressed Ruffles. And if I'm eating like chips with dip, I'll have a plain
Of course.
Ruffles,
Yeah,
but like
yeah.
no other flavors interest me from Ruffles. Sorry.
I like barbecue ruffles. I actually prefer them to all. I used to like all dressed the most, and then barbecue, barbecue, but now you have like they have like double crunch ruffles.
Double crunch.
It's
Is
really
it like double thick or
intense.
just
No, it's like they've been reinforced with concrete or something, but they're really good. They have double crunch, like jalapeno, double crunch ketchup, like the Canadian flavors, pretty good, pretty good. Like pretty much if you gave Ruffles a performance enhancing drug, you get some double Ruffles. It's pretty good.
oh, I've been told I have to tread carefully about the Ruffles. Uh-oh.
Oh,
The Ruffles fans are they're offended. I feel like it's
I'm
Old
in their
Dutch as
corner.
well.
I'm in their corner.
Old Dutch as well. People that I
Don't-
only ever see Old Dutch on Halloween. It's like those little packets. It's the only thing they sell anymore.
Well, they sell, I think, what's crazy about Old Dutch? Don't they sell like nachos and cleaning product, or is that something else? There's another-
It could be. I don't
You
know.
reach for the wrong one, dead.
But did it taste
I
good?
shouldn't have eaten so many of those cleaning product nachos.
I mean, you gotta wonder, like lemon pine salt. It must taste good. It smells good. But don't drink it.
You know, that scratch and sniff. I think they're onto something.
Yeah, I mean, what kid hasn't thought this smells good? Maybe.
I mean, what's great about the detergent bottle is that it's super colorful and it's got a little shot glass that you can pour a nice blue Kool-Aid into.
Oh man, I mean, kids were going after the Tide Pods for a reason, right?
Oh man, my kid's gonna be in so much danger with me as a parent. This is great.
They'll get all their dangerous behaviors out early. They'll learn on their own.
Okay.
We had our youngest right now is just like he has no fear of falling down.
I like
So
that.
it's like if you don't watch the stairs, he's
Has
like,
he
I'm just
injured
gonna walk
himself
off
pretty
the edge.
badly?
He hasn't yet. I mean, the
What are
worst he's
some of
gotten is
the
like a real
injuries
bad
he's had,
head
though?
bump.
Head
Head bump, yeah, like a big welt on his head.
bump?
Dylan actually did worse. I feel like we were just more negligent with him. He's broken
Sure.
his leg. He when he was a baby, he tripped in
How
the
did he
kitchen.
break his leg? That sounds awful. It sounds like it would have been really, really traumatic.
Yeah, he was 2 years old, and I was trying to put his pajamas on, and he was like just not cooperating at all. And I was sitting in like our rocking chair upstairs, and I was like, whatever, you screw around. I'm just gonna sit here. And he jumped off of the rocking chair, and it just like moved as he jumped, so he landed weird, and he broke his tibia. And
Oh,
the specific kind of fracture that it was called is a toddler fracture because apparently as kids go, it's relatively common to do that specific fracture. And he had to have a cast on for 2.5 weeks, I think. And he was the grumpiest child I've ever known because he couldn't do
Wow.
anything. And it was like right around this time last year, he like got it off around Halloween. And it was like the end of the summer. It just like wrecked it for him. So it was pretty rough. Dylan also, when he was a baby, when he was teething, he tripped in the kitchen and somehow managed to smash the top of his gums on the tile and bruised his gums. And we were like, oh God, did he like break his teeth inside his gums? And we had to like get him x-rayed and everything, and he was fine. But yeah, the kids, they managed to injure themselves. You'll freak out about it at the time. For those
Oh
who don't
man,
know, Tito is
I
a new
fell out
father.
of so many trees. Like I know they'll get hurt. And like I'm bad at life, like regular things people need to do to get from point A to point B. Terrible. But like if you came to me and your arm had been chopped off, like I'm your dude. I will like I seriously everything dies in me and I just go like, okay, you get ice, I'm gonna make a tourniquet. We're going to the hospital. You're driving. I'm gonna be in the back seat. We can go to this hospital. Like I think there's this thing that like I don't know, was drilled into my brain at a young age. My mom is like very kind of in a crisis, and I'm fucking great in a crisis, Andrew. But like raising a child is not, it's like a series of crises, but there's shit that happens between those crises. Homework?
Yes.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, yeah, and even before homework, there's all sorts of things. Bedtimes every day, making
Yeah.
dinner that they won't throw on the ground every day. It's those are like the little stresses that add up. Laundry. I feel like that's one of the things that nobody tells you when you get first
Oh my
have a kid.
God. I
That your
folded a
laundry
mountain of
time.
laundry this morning and then just another mountain waiting for me.
Yes, it's never ending the amount of laundry you have to do every day,
Yeah. Picking
especially with
something up.
newborns.
Sorry.
But yeah, I think we're slowing down here on the comments a little bit. Ruffles released a matzo stick and marinara chip. No, just make matzo sticks. You can buy them at Costco or any
Well,
grocery store.
also like I feel like the beauty of the matzo stick into the marinara, you get to choose the proportions, you know?
Yes,
They've decided it for you.
yes,
You know,
100%.
it could be just drowning in marinara. I don't want that.
No,
What
no,
is this? A
that's
tomato
awful.
chip?
Yeah, and I don't even like ketchup chips. I know it's
I'm
controversial
not
for
eating
being a Canadian.
spaghetti in chip form, sir. What is
Spaghetti
this?
and
Get
chip
out of
form.
here.
Oh,
Get the
someone
hell.
mentioned we haven't even mentioned Doritos. I have a controversial take about Doritos. So many people love that bold barbecue flavor. Or no, it's not that one. Sweet chili heat. People love sweet chili
Yeah,
heat.
no,
I hate
fuck it.
sweet chili heat. It's garbage. I don't want sweet. I want the jalapeno cheddar Dorito or zesty cheese. Those are my two.
I mean, when you say Dorito, I just think the orange bag, or sorry, the red bag, the
The
orange
nacho
shit.
cheese.
Yeah, I don't, all this other shit. What is this? Get out of here. You want fancy chips? You go see Ruffles. They got double crunch. It'll blow your mind. Double crunch, spicy jalapeno. Oh, a new chip that I tasted this year that like kind of off the charts for me. Miss Vicky's spicy pickle.
Oh yeah,
Spicy
those are
dill pickle.
good.
Forget about it. Oh,
Got to bring it back to the pickles.
always, man. Always.
Also, I tried a new Miss Vicky's also. It was like honey mustard or something like that, or like spicy honey mustard. That was pretty solid as well. And I don't usually like honey mustard as it goes, but
How bad are the Montreal Canadiens that we spent half an hour talking about food? I love it.
Yes.
This is like,
I mean, it is Halloween, so we had to like bring in some Halloween flavor, especially since
oh,
we're not
believe
wearing
me.
costumes.
Well, what's like a Halloween costume you remember?
From mine, when I was younger, like 10-ish, my mom handmade me a Wolverine costume. I still have a picture of it on like up on my Facebook.
Wow. Yeah.
And like I talked to her about it relatively recently, and she was saying that like back then, remember there was no like internet to get a good picture of Wolverine. She went to the library and had a like 3-inch by 3-inch picture of Wolverine that she'd had like color photocopied to bring home. That's all she had to work with. I don't know why
That's
she didn't just go
amazing.
buy a comic, but that's
She
what
didn't want
went
to
with.
support them. They're probably the devil.
Probably, yeah. All right, so we'll probably people mentioned candy corn again. We already talked about candy corn. It's trash.
It's amazing. Go buy some.
Don't please.
You keep making it. Someone's buying it.
Somebody, I know somebody who loves candy corn. I'm
Yeah.
actually gonna visit with them on the 3rd here. She's
Are they
coming to visit.
100 years old?
No, she's like the same age as me, and her and her girlfriend or wife actually are gonna come up and visit. They're having a kid in January, so very excited for them. I'm hoping that she hasn't been eating candy corn while pregnant because it's probably poison.
Or maybe it just builds character. The child
Maybe
gets
it
used to
does.
miserable things.
Maybe it
You know?
does.
Child gets out, they're like, I'm over it. I've seen this shit. Candy
Yeah.
corn all my life.
All right, we'll probably wrap it up there because I've taken enough of your time, and we've both got children to worry about. And this is a Sunday night, but I've really enjoyed chatting with you, man. I I miss talking with you more often. Back when you were on the Habs beat, I feel like we DM'd all the time.
We did gab all the time. I'm sorry. I've kind of fallen off the face of the earth a little
No,
bit,
no,
but
I know you're on
I
busy
always
stuff,
appreciate,
and
you've always been very supportive of the things that I do, and I really appreciate it. And I'm really excited for you that this is, I mean, I wish the Canadians were better and whatever, but
same
I
here.
think when they're bad, it's kind of fun in its own way to kind of watch and like talk about it. It's like therapy. But no, man, you're the best. You're a really, really good person and a really kind person and super talented. And I'm happy to be your friend. And if anyone's still around, you want to support local journalism, rover.substack.com. If you sign up now and tell me that you saw me on Andrew's show, I'll buy you a beer. For
Oh,
real.
very
It's like,
nice.
it's not bullshit. I will.
All right, I'm gonna put that out in the tweet as well and make sure that everybody knows to check out the Rover because it is honestly one of the most important things that you could do, especially locally. You live in Quebec and you're learning the stories that like just don't make it past. People just don't talk about it enough. Some of the stories that Tito's covered over the last year and a bit here with the Rover have been just incredible. You guys have won awards already. Like,
Singular award.
no, I'm
Well,
gonna
thank
I'm gonna
you.
say awards plural because there's
All
from
right.
my heart
Okay.
too. Unofficial awards.
It's number one in your heart. That's an
Yes,
award.
that's an award. So seriously, go check it out. It's really important, and there's some things that are more important than hockey. As much as I love what I do, go check out the Rover. And supporting local journalism has never been more important because the giant companies that own everything are destroying local news. So please check it out. I beg you, and support my buddy who's doing great work. And thanks Tito for coming on. It's awesome to chat with you,
Thanks,
man.
buddy. All the best to the family. And thanks a lot, guys.